And I want to start that out with a Webster's Dictionary definition, and then I'll tie everything together and go forward. And the word that I have from the Webster's Dictionary in front of me is the word hypocrisy. And I'm using it as it reflects upon myself back to 2005. The word hypocrisy is feigning to believe what one does not believe, or behavior that contradicts what one claims. Hypocrisy can be rampant, in my opinion, in politics to those who think this is all a big game. So I have a message for those who think it's a game from real-world experience from you. Revolutions kill politicians on both sides. Doesn't matter what your position is. They don't care whether you were the Liberal Party or the Conservative Party when you're in a revolution in Central Europe. They don't care. You all die. Doesn't matter whether you were right or wrong. Most revolutions in history start as city-centric. And we face a city-centric issue in Oregon, as we all know. One side says Portlandia does this all the time, Portlandia does that. That's exactly where we're going today. The problem that we have to avoid is holding on to the status quo and denying that history is happening in front of us. So when I came here in 2005, one of the first people I met was Dave Barrows, and Dave Barrows was supportive of, in his firm, of the National Popular Vote, and he told me about hypocrisy between lobbyists. And so that kind of stuck in my mind as we go forward. And back then, just so everybody knows, we were in a position in which the conservatives, you know, those evil people. Now, at this point, I should say, Mr. President, you should turn off all the microphones for all the Democrats so they can't hear this, okay? But I'm going to say it anyway. You have in your desk two articles. One is from the ultra-conservative, arch-liberal newspaper, the Washington Times. And it says, "Making the Conservative Case for Popular Vote." It's on your desk. I'll let you read it. It's on OLIS for those of you out there. The second one that's on your desk, colleagues, is from that ultra-liberal legislative group out there. Those liberal of the most liberals, the American Legislative Exchange Council. And it has 8 former national chairs supporting national popular vote. So why would they do this? Because in history, they said, we need to get the people across the country voting. We need to make sure that all the rural votes count. We need to make sure that the city-states don't overcome us. And so they started going forward with this, and then the hanging Chad came, and Bush got elected, and then everybody said, well, maybe we should think about this. Hypocrisy word sound familiar? I use it all the time. Then we moved forward, and we kind of went back and forth to where we are today. Where we sit today is an interesting place, because in 2012 there were 15 swing states that decided who was elected president. Flat out. Didn't matter if you only won by 1 vote in the swing state. Those 15, if you won the 15, that's who president was. Everybody else did not matter. That's the mathematic fact. 2016, there were 12 swing states. You notice the numbers going down here? Now anticipated in 2020, there will be 7 swing states that matter. That's it. 7 swing states that matter. And why is that so? Because we are moving towards city-states. This happened in the Middle Ages, and it turned into the Dark Ages. I want to point out to you, if you don't know what a Soviet is, I'm not talking about the Soviet Union. If you don't know what a Soviet is, you need to study your history. Because in October 1917, in the Bolshevik revolutions, the Soviets rose to power, and the net result in the end were tens of millions of dead. Rural Russia wiped out. A Soviet is a city-state. A Soviet is a small city-state that takes its own will and goes forward in its own method. And we look here in the United States right now, we are dropping down to 7 battleground states. And as was correctly pointed out by 2 of my colleagues in my party, let's just face facts here. When you're talking about Arizona, you're talking about Phoenix, city-state. Florida, okay, the famous county in South Florida. There we go, okay? Michigan, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. We already have concentrated power, colleagues. It's already there. And so the question is, going forward, what do we do? Do we continue to do the status quo, and do we repeat history? Or do we do something different that is in fact retractable? I want to point out that one of the good senators just to my front left, that I don't know, I can't name him by the rules, but I don't know where exactly his little nameplate is here that it says to call him by, has pointed out that we have more work to do after you do this, because you have to address your own walls. And, you know, if our colleagues in the future or the people decide they don't want to do it, you can reverse course and back out. I happen to be one that when Dave Barrows told me not to be a hypocrite back in 2005 and said, yeah, I'm on because the conservatives are on, just because the situation has changed for personal political advantage, I'm not going to change my vote. I'm going to stay the course. I urge a yes vote.